I am making this video because I had received this false information in a post message from Facebook. I had shared a video that stated how Scotland was lifting their COVID restrictions, and on their government website, it showed that people who were vaccinated actually had higher rates of being sick from COVID. And apparently, according to this fact checker, this video was false information. Just a very quick clip of what they say at the beginning.
Over the last couple of weeks, we reported about what's called negative vaccine efficacy out of the UK's public health data, meaning basically that if you get a vaccine, you have a greater chance of having a COVID case, negative vaccine efficacy.
Yes.
Well, we have new numbers out of Scotland. This is directly from their public health authority, the government numbers. Scotland is showing that in spades. So let's check this out. Let's look at the numbers. It's pretty cut and dry. Scotland, Omicron restrictions to end on Monday, says Nicola Sturgeon. So they ended, this is the headline here, sorry, they ended their restrictions just about a week ago out of nowhere.
And they've been very strict. I mean, Scotland was like one.
Okay, so as he said, they showed that, and I'm going to show you how I arrived at that to show that this was a true post, not false claim. So first, I'm going to go to my search. First off, I did find a video of
the limit on
Nicola Sturgeon
at
lifting
outdoor
restrictions.
Public events was lifted. The remaining statutory measures introduced in response to Omicron are as follows: limits on attendance at indoor public events, the requirement for 1 metre physical distancing between different groups in indoor public places, the requirement for table service in hospitality premises serving alcohol on the premises, and the closure of nightclubs. Given the improving situation, and as I said last week, we hoped to be able to do, I can confirm today that all of these measures will be lifted from next Monday, 24th January. We will also...
So again, COVID restrictions were lifted in Scotland. And then the documents that were shown on that other video, I wasn't sure if the publichealthscotland.scot was the actual government website, so I did a little digging. I went to the actual government website here. And after doing some scrolling around, as I went through here, say if I go to care homes, there's a link that says PHS Weekly Statistical Report. So if I go to that, it takes me to the same website, publichealthscotland.scot. So as you scroll down, and you look for the full report, which is the weekly report, and it's over 100 pages. So I found if you take their report to page 41, it has the same chart that the video was referring to with the statistics based on vaccination rate and positive COVID rate. So if you look in the first column, it says unvaccinated at the top. Now it says under number tested positive, it has a higher number, but if you look at the population, that is high as well. If you go way over to the right where it says 1 dose, the number is lower with positive, however, the population is lower. So you can't compare it that way. So what they do is they standardize this data based on 100,000 people. So if you look under unvaccinated, age standardized case rate per 100,000. So even if you look at the gray, which is the most recent data they posted, unvaccinated people, it was 252 cases of COVID in unvaccinated. Now, if you go to the right, people who had 1 dose, the number is higher, 340 people out of 100,000 who had 1 dose of the vaccine came down with COVID. That's higher than unvaccinated. If you go down to the bottom and compare it to 2 doses, 515 people out of 100,000 came down with COVID. That's still higher than the unvaccinated. Same thing with the booster 3 shots. 379 cases of COVID in people who had 3 shots, compared to 252 who were unvaccinated. So how is this false information? This is the Scotland government putting this out to the public. Just don't want to tell you how to think, but that's certainly food for thought.